Hello there, it's your Wisconsin Wine Guy. Today is Wednesday. To be more specific, it is Wine Wednesday. And I thought I'd do something a little bit different. Normally I'm doing a wine review, but I thought that, a program I was going to begin in the fall that I'm probably going to start now. I get asked a bunch of questions on a lot of videos at just different social media platforms, and I answer these questions, and some questions are better answered through a video. So I thought, let's start with this question that I get asked all the time. And that question is, hey, I'm new to drinking wine. Do you have any suggestions or recommendations of where I should begin? That question comes up all the time. Now, I'm going to talk to my younger self, because when I was younger and starting to get into wine, it was interesting. I asked someone, so what should I drink? And someone said, hey, you should drink Riesling. And I'm like, Riesling? Well, what is that? Well, I really couldn't answer. It's something that they heard, they recommended to me. I tried it. Well, I liked it. It was good to drink at that time. And it's good to drink now. So don't get me wrong. But after that, I didn't know where to go. There was no one else to advise me. There was no one else to answer my questions. I was so curious. I mean, back then, when it came to wine, it was either Italian, French, German, or you have some American wines, but some of them were in high price points. So, sweets, dries, you get the idea, whites, reds. But, so, here's what I would tell my younger self. You know what, self? You need to taste a variety. You're just starting out. Don't limit yourself here. Taste a variety and get to learn your palate. What do you mean, get to learn my palate? Well, what I mean is this. What I did for you is down below, I listed quite a few different wines, about 6 or 7 wines, but most importantly, I listed the classics. So I'm going to teach you a bunch of lessons in one. One, you're going to explore your palate on different tastes. 2, you're going to be tasting the classic grapes and learning what the classic grapes are. These are grapes that you can find all over. They're grown all over the world. And 3, you're going to be experimenting with different styles. Wow! All of that in once? Yes. So I'm not going to have you just simply drink one wine. Now you could purchase one at a time and then take your notes. The name of the wine, the vintage of the wine, the brand of the wine, and simple, you liked it or you didn't like it. And then go from there. Now these are wines that I've already shot videos on, so you can watch and see what I thought about the wines, and then you can grade for yourself. So now, the classic grapes. You must understand the classic grapes. So in white, you're going to have Riesling, Chardonnay, and Sauvignon Blanc. In red, you're going to have Cabernet, Pinot Noir, and Merlot. These are all grapes. So the first thing you need to do is explore grapes. Within these different grapes, you're going to come across different tastes, which can be closely related to different styles. All right. So you got the classic grapes you're going to do first. Then I threw in 2 different grapes and wine styles. All right. So I threw in a alternative white for you, which is going to be Pinot Grigio. Then I threw in Moscato d'Asti. It's going to be an Italian wine. It's going to have a little fizz to it, a little hint of sweetness, this particular one. And then I threw in what's called a Prosecco, also a sparkling wine, but completely opposite from the Moscato d'Asti. So you're going to get a nice cross-section of different wines. Again, purchase one at a time, try it, make your notes, all right? Then the next thing, or the last thing I want to say to you is this. Do not taste that particular wine or that grape and say, oh my gosh, I don't like Chardonnays. No, don't do that. Because you cannot treat a Chardonnay that's made from this producer, from this region, from this country, the same as a Chardonnay from this region, this country, this producer. That's where the styles come in at. Chardonnays can be dry. Some Chardonnays can be sweet. Some can be rich and flavorful. Some can be light. Some can be fruity. Some can be acidic. All right? So different styles. So let's recap, Self. I'm going to tell you again. You must first I'm going to have you taste through the classics. And those classics again: Chardonnay, Riesling, Sauvignon Blanc for white, Cabernet, Pinot Noir, and Merlot for red. Then I'm going to have you try an alternative white, which is going to be made from a grape called Pinot Grigio. Are you with me so far, self? I got you. Next, you're going to taste two different types of sparkling wines. That's also a style. It's going to be a Moscato, both from Italy, Moscato d'Asti, and Prosecco. Moscato's a grape, Prosecco's the grape beer. Isn't that great? I think so. So it's going to be a nice journey for you, a very great journey for you. You're going to explore your palate, and you may be surprised that you may find yourself liking this particular grape over that particular grape. And then you start diving in and you begin to learn more. And I'm always here and available to answer your questions. All right, so those wines that I suggested would be down below in the comments with links to the videos that I've already shot for those wines. So you can simply just go and purchase those wines. You'll see the label, you have the name, and you can just purchase the current vintage. You don't necessarily have to find the exact vintage. You can purchase the current vintage that's available on the market. So now, the most important part, okay, is your palate. I always like to say at the end of my videos is let your palate be the guide, because that's really what it comes down to. I can't tell you to like this particular wine, to go crazy with this particular grape, because it's your palate. Or you should stay with sweet wines, you should go with dry wines, you should go with sparkling wines. It's your palate. So let your palate be the guide in deciding what kind of wine and what type of wine style you're going to enjoy. So self, you have all that information? I think I do. I think I got it now. So I'm going to taste through these wines, I'm going to take my notes, and then I'm going to keep tasting and keep tasting and let my palate begin to evolve and find those wines that I like. Oh, and if I have any further questions, I can just send you a message. Ta-da! You got it, self. Wow. I'm sure glad to help my younger self out explore or take that journey into wine. So, as always, I want to say to you, let your palate be the guide when selecting your next wine and the next wine and the next wine. And enjoy this Wine Wednesday, and I'll see you next time. And I'm going to explore my palate and decide red or white or red for this evening. Bye!